So, game 2 in this best of 5 series between Vivi and Zuppi and the Arabia 1v1 Invitational. As always, if in this tournament, although the order might change a little bit in the knockout stage, I think game 2 is going to be a free pick of civilizations, except for Huns, Mayans, and Aztecs. So players forced to pick from the best of the rest, so to speak. And Britons have been an extremely popular choice for lots of players, as we expected they might be. And that is what Zuppi has gone for here in the blue on the right. I'm going to check if I've got team colours on actually. No, I haven't, so they're just playing in blue and red. Whereas Vivi, as lots of Chinese players have done in this tournament, opting for Spanish as his preferred Arabia civ for when he doesn't have Huns, Mayans and Aztecs available to him. And I'll talk about that after we've had a look at the maps, because I feel like I know what Vivi wants to do already, and some of you might be able to guess as well, but especially if you watch this game versus Viper, which is what I'm remembering, because I casted that and he was absolutely dominant with the Spanish, just completely took away all of Viper's gold and killed him pretty easily. So it'd be interesting to see if he tries that same strategy, but let's just have a look at the maps first. For Zuppi, he, to me, looks incredibly vulnerable to a forward, because everything is in the same place. Like his berries, one of his wood lines, although he's taking this one to start off with, stones, main gold, second gold, all in more or less the same place. And his third gold is over here, which is quite a long way away and nowhere near the rest of his stuff. So yeah, I'd say his map is kind of okay because he can wall it off and then just try and defend this area, but it is vulnerable to the forward coming in. Whereas for Vivi, pretty nice actually. Main stone at the back, berries at the back, two nice back wood lines and a third one in the front. The only thing going on is his gold really. His gold is the downside to this map. Main gold really far from the TC, the bottom of a big hill. And then his second gold's pretty easy to get on actually, but his third's a little bit far away. I mean, he could potentially do walls like this actually and shield so much of the map and take that really safely. But I feel like none of this is actually going to come into play in this game if Vivi does the strategy that I think he wants to do. Because what I think he's going to do is he's going to do a trush, and then he's going to go to the castle age, and he's going to drop a castle, and he's going to do conks. He did this against Viper and took away all of his gold, as I was saying, and quite a lot of his wood line as well. And Viper was just kind of sending villagers out into the middle of the map, building outposts, just looking for gold, because he was just dying, because I just had no way to get gold whatsoever. And as I was saying, if you look at this map, if Vivi does do that, it could work really well, because he only needs maybe 2 towers to take away everything apart from this gold down here and this wood. So a trush, a tower rush, and then fast castle conquistadors from Vivi on this map could be absolutely devastating. And I kind of hope to see if he I hope he does that, because I'd love to see it done again, because it was just so well executed and well played when I saw him do it against Viper. So really excited to see if he does that. But for now, let's have a look what Zuppi is doing. He's on 4 on wood. I didn't look how early he put 4 on wood, but as Britons, of course, he'd almost certainly want to be going for a drush and then into archery unit production, or kind of faster castle with early crossbows rather than feudal archers. Unless, of course, you're going in for a straight up archer rush, which is less common. But Zuppi indeed going for the bag, so we will see a Dark Age rush from him with adding militia and going over to Vivi's base. So the question is, if Vivi does do the forward, how much will that interfere with her? How much will the drush from Zuppi interfere with Vivi's forward plans? The fact that Vivi still only has 3 on wood at this point would perhaps suggest to me that he's definitely going to go for that. I mean, he's really prioritising getting that ball eaten as quickly as possible to get 500 food and click up. But he's still a little way away. Just going to get loom and then probably eat 2 sheep and he'll be ready to go up. He's seen that Zuppi is drushing, presumably. Oh, he's actually just missed. No, he's seen it now. He sees the drush. So he knows that he's going to have to contend with that. Vivi on his way to the feudal age on 22 population, 810. Oh, no, sorry, he clicked up at 83, according to this. So, yeah, here we go. This is it. The villager charge across the map with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 villagers. This is insane. He's going to go on a bit of a circuitous route around the north of the map to try and avoid Zuppi's drush, and then just build a wall at home. So the question of, will the drush interfere with Vivi's forward? The answer is no, because he's sneaky and he's a waller. And also a wolf, kind of delaying the progress of the militia across the map. But whilst I was looking at that, I don't know if Zuppi actually saw all those villagers. I feel like the answer is not, or he'd be following them. That was a really close call. But they're around there when the scout was really close, so I think they're actually... Zuppi doesn't see all this yet, but he is walling everything. He's walling everything, and Vivi might have a bit of a nasty surprise now. See what his reaction is. Mining a ton of stone, so we're not really, and still only 3 on wood, so we're not, having done all these walls as well, so we're not really going to see him dropping archery ranges and doing a skirmisher forward or anything like that, at least for a while. It's going to be mostly just towers and stuff, but Zuppi's going to try and wall all that, but going to get caught out. Vivi's scout, obviously now a feudal age scout with +2 attack, meaning he can kill a villager pretty easily with that, and with 8 villagers here and able to garrison the tower, he can bash through that wall pretty easily as well. Vivi getting 1 villager pick and trying to lure for a second one, and Vivi is now in, which means the second tower is going to be coming, and I imagine a third tower over here somewhere as soon as that second tower gone up. With 8 Spanish villagers with the building bonus, that tower is going to be up in no time whatsoever. Zuppi's drush obviously really effective because he just ran into all these walls, and he's going to take it home to try and help deal with this forward. But the towers keep on coming from Vivi, and he's taking away almost everything at this point. Like, Zuppi's going to stone to try and defend, but it's kind of late. These towers are going to be up, and there's probably going to be another one here, at which point he has no stone to take. He's going to come over here and get this gold, at least. So he won't be completely off gold, but most of it, his gold will be denied to him. And that's a very in-your-face tower by Vivi there. I think Zuppi was trying to get enough stone from there, maybe with the villagers, just without building a mining camp, to get 250 stone so he can afford 2 towers, which he now can. Or maybe. But really nice play by Vivi so far, taking away almost all of the resources from Zuppi. And he's actually, no, that's an outpost and not a tower. He's not going to keep coming with towers just for now. But he's prowling around in the back with his scout, so he knows where Zuppi is shifting his economy to, and can continue trying to push there if he wants to. These militia are going to get cleaned up finally. 1 or 2 villagers garrisoned in the tower and the rest of the villagers chasing after them. Let's have a look at home. Vivi's starting to get a bit of a better economy, and oh my god, these deer. That is a lot of deer. So I feel like Zuppi's going to be facing the problem of Vivi getting to the castle age pretty damn quickly on the back of having all these deer. I mean, obviously he wasn't dropping tons of farms and stuff, but he was only producing villagers and not military at the start, meaning that, you know, once he starts banking those deer, he will have a lot of food in the bank. Zuppi with his first counter tower. Normally, like a defensive tower is quite a sort of instantaneous reaction to when you get trashed, but Vivi was coming forward with all those villages and putting those towers down so quickly that he was not really reacting with that straight away. One tower obviously no use if your opponent puts up two. And can still garrison them both with almost full amounts of villages. Seems both players will go for a repair as well. Just a cheeky little bit of repairing. If Vivi looks, he could take away that tower. That villager, sorry, kill the villager, but it's going to escape. Heard a blacksmith going up for Zuppi, so I assume fletching going to come in for him. Yeah, indeed, but in terms of resources, nowhere near Castle Age. He needs to stay in Feudal Age to defend this, but also producing some archery units may look to try and break into Vivi's base later on, but he could find the whole thing stonewalled up by the time he tries to do that. And Zuppi can actually get away with Vil bashing that tower because towers obviously with the minimum range and Zuppi with Vivi with no support units, as you perhaps would have in a more conventional forward and not one forward that's just pure towers. Vivi with almost no food in the bank though, because still only taken a couple of those deer and not really onto many farms. That is obviously the downside of going forward with 8 villagers. You just absolutely cripple your economy for like the next 5 minutes. But for the meantime, he is at least stealing Zuppi's gold, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him just stonewall everything and go upon Market Blacksmith, buy his way to the Castle Age with some of the gold that he's mining from Zuppi, and then we'll see the castle, and then we'll see the conquistadors. That is what I predict will happen. But I feel like Zuppi's going to go in there. He's not going to maybe take one casualty from the TC, but then he's going to be in. And this is a little bit of a mistake from Vivi. He needed to have that house put up a bit earlier, I think, get some HP on it to make sure you can hit these archery units as they go through. It's got to the point now where these units aren't very strong, but and because there's only 3 of them. But they do have fletching and they're going to cause a nuisance. And this strategy from Vivi does rely on him being able to be undisrupted at home and maintain the pressure on Zuppi. Like if Zuppi is able to just micro these and get a lot of disruption with the archers, he may be in a pretty okay position, because you know, like Britain's getting to the Castle Age, and their kind of early Castle Age economy with the ability to drop TCs really fast is really good. And I think Zuppi should still have 100 stone in the back for that early TC. You get a wheelbarrow now, and his farm count's starting to look pretty good, so I don't think he'd be a million miles away from the Castle Age. And we see that just these 3 units from Zuppi are actually making Vivi chase after them with a ton of villagers that should otherwise be taking the deer, which is going to delay Vivi's Castle Age time by a lot. I'm going to check out his position and see if he's got that market up yet, but he hasn't. But you see he's got floating so much gold, and he's also floating the stone to build the castle when he eventually gets to the Castle Age. I think he'll just be looking for that market ASAP. Oh, it's actually on the front and denied on 99%, which is pretty big actually, because it basically means that Vivi can't get out there and finish that market. It's 175 wood down the drain when he's got such a flimsy economy anyway, and he still needs a blacksmith. But Vivi's solution to that, of course, is going to be a tower. Just try and push those archers away from there and get that last 1 HP on it. But he might lose another villager in the meantime. Keep getting distracted by all the attack notifications going on over here and the flashing lights on the minimap and stuff. The red dots in Zuppi's base making me think that Vivi's doing stuff over there, but it's just the same old towers. And yet again, another 3 units in the back of Vivi's base. Gonna be doing yet more disruption. See deer hunters going idle everywhere, but he's ready to click up now, except for having the blacksmith that he needs. See if he's doing it anywhere. But it's just looking so disgustingly messy. Zuppi's economy is so much more powerful and efficient at this point, and like Vivi's gonna have all his eggs in one basket. He basically needs the Castle Conquistador play to work, or he's dead. I feel like, because Britons, once they hit the castle age, they just accelerate so much, and obviously with the power of the crossbows as well. These units still causing tons of trouble in the back of Vivi's base. It's just looking so messy. But he does at least have that blacksmith and is on the way to the castle age. And will have the stone in the bank for the conquistador, the castle and the conquistadors when he gets there. These units, man. The amount of chasing after they're causing by the villagers and the amount of idle time as Vivi just tries to micro it. It's insane. But Vivi is 5 villages ahead, which is pretty interesting. It can't really be explained by the up times, because there's like 1.5 villager difference there. I wonder if Vivi actually got a wheelbarrow, whether that is the source of the difference. No, he didn't. No wheelbarrow on the way to the castle age. Sorry guys for being AFK sort of for a moment. Just had member of my family just came in to give me a message, so I was just focusing on that. But we're back. Let's see what's happened in the meantime. See that Zuppi trying to apply pressure onto the base of Vivi with those crossbows, but mainly walled out. Meanwhile, Vivi is going to be going for that castle in Zuppi's base on the main gold. Also taking away 2 stones and probably really his ability to come and access this second gold still. And this gold for Zuppi will be running dry, which is why he's going to look to secure this extra gold out in the middle of the map with a TC. Vivi with Bowsaw finally getting wheelbarrow, but Zuppi's going to have handcart already on more farms than Vivi has as well, so his economy will be in much better shape. Vivi's got to make this push work, but the difference here compared to when he did this strategy against Viper is that Zuppi has managed to keep access to one of his golds and is securing extra golds on the map, and his economy is looking in much better shape, whereas he's also been able to achieve some disruption, in fact a great deal of disruption on Vivi's economy at home. So I feel like Zuppi is managing to fend off this strategy from Vivi slightly better than when we saw Viper attempt to do it with Vikings. Even though he's got a similar situation where all of his stuff on the map is in one place pretty much. Vivi actually outposting his main gold, probably just to come and see if Zuppi is actually trying to steal it from him. He's going to start mangonelling down this TC, producing Conquistador. He's actually got 4 sitting in that base. I mean, as soon as the TC goes down, he can try and run in, but he will run into crossbows and mangonel. Mangonel's not the best against Conks actually, because they're just like Conk's attack is just so high that they just obliterate the mangonel anyway. But crossbows, until in decent numbers and with the extra range and everything, can work pretty well against Conquistadors, but not in these numbers. The hit and run power of the Conquistadors is just too much. And Conquistadors obviously with the same 2 base armor that Knights enjoy, and then he's got +2 archer armor done as well, Vivi has, so able to tank quite a lot of fire from the Conquistadors. Going to take down quite a lot of gold villagers as well. He'll probably just focus on the gold villagers more than trying to fight the crossbows. Or is he just going to run around here as he actually can? He can continue circling around the base. But Zuppi is in. And Vivi has palisade tricked that. I was looking at that one tree and that gap there. Zuppi has chopped it down and built a palisade on top of the straggler and entered with the crossbows. And this is going to be devastating because Vivi has like nothing here. He has a siege workshops here, but he's producing a mangonel, but 10 Britain's crossbows easily out micro mangonel. So both players kind of base trading at the moment, but it is really looking extremely messy for Zuppi. He has almost nothing here. 3 mangonels and a bunch of conks just laying waste to Zuppi's economy and everything going idle. It's a total base trade situation. And I think it could very well depend on like whether Zuppi is able to micro all of this whilst defending at home, because if he's able to micro it to do lots of damage, then he can stay in the game, but he is losing his base at home, so he needs to make sure that he does inflict that damage. At least force the entirety of Vivi's economy to be idle. But Vivi's going to go and block up that hole, so at least no more crossbows are getting in. Could have been quite nice for Zuppi to kind of come in with that villager and just build a gate here or something. Like a little bit of a circle of wall and a gate. But pretty much every villager on the map seems to be idle at the moment. Actually, Zuppi has kind of fixed his idles problem. It's just that everything is inefficient. Whereas for Vivi, he had 40 or so idle villagers. Just insane. Like, it's crazy just how much zone of control those Britain's crossbows can exert by sitting in the middle of Vivi's base here, because they, with the range and the hill and everything, they're just taking away everything. Even look at this. Just to try and gather some wood. And obviously, with the range and the extra attack power from the hill as well, it's pretty easy to take on mangonels. Although the numbers are starting to diminish to the point where Vivi and Zuppi can't micro against the mangonels so much anymore. And it's really hard to say. I feel like Zuppi is probably in an okay spot despite having lost like his whole initial TC, just because he's had a lot more villagers working for the last few minutes. Because Vivi has no resources at all, and he's still got 3 crossbows wandering around his base, whereas Zuppi got 500 gold in the bank despite the fact that he lost nearly all of his gold. It means he can produce crossbows. Actually going to come over here and TC this stone, which is cheeky. You might then look for a castle on this wood, or even a tower, like just TC this, mine a bit of stone, 1 or 2 towers, and then Vivi is not getting resources. Oh my god. That just says it all. Like, I think Zuppi's going to be okay, despite the damage to his base, just because those crossbows getting in, the big play of palisade chopping there, meant that he just did insane damage to Vivi. It's absolutely incredible, and Vivi's still not fixing this. I wonder if a lot of those villagers aren't showing up as like idols when he hits his idle villager key, because many of them are still tasked trying to chop the wood but are stuck. Loving Zuppi's 14-16 rating. Yep, they used the intermediate ladder for some reason when they played the games. Don't know why. But yeah, Vivi's forward has just completely ran out of momentum. He's got 1 mangonel here, but he's probably going to lose that. Not really producing conks, not really pushing anymore. And I feel like he's kind of trapped in this corner of the map and completely vulnerable to whatever Zuppi wants to do with him now, to be honest. With the state that Vivi's economy is in, I don't see any way that he's going to get up in this match, like get up in terms of going to the next stage, but or in terms of producing more military and starting to raid again. Whereas Zuppi, I keep mixing the names up. I think it's because they've got the same sound at the end. Zuppi's going to be able to just keep harassing with those Britain's crossbows, taking out mangonels pretty easily and kind of shutting down everything that Vivi tries to do. I definitely think he wants to try and just drop a castle here and end this, judging by his keenness to take all that stone. Obviously his own stone was over here that he hasn't been able to take for the whole match. Vivi has actually managed to get onto a decent number of villages though. Like, he's actually ahead of Zuppi in villages, which I guess is down to the fact that there's just the sheer amount of disruption to where all of where Zuppi's farmland was. I guess that for a while Zuppi would have had practically no farms at all working on the map. Especially when those conks ran into the back of his base, which could explain why his villager count decreased, because he did have the second TC out here. So it's not like Vivi's extra TC was working in his favour. At least until this one went down. A lot of crossbows there now, those conks won't be able to take those on. And Zuppi harassing over the top of the wood line as well. It's just such a messy and scrappy game. Oh, come on Zuppi, you don't want to lose all those crossbows like that. Oh my god. Don't stand there. My head is in my hands at the moment. Expo Killer Richard. That is a troll account if I've ever seen one in the Twitch chat. Zuppi's in with another 5 crossbows, and judging by what the last small group of crossbows that snuck into the back of Vivi's base did, this could be another 50 villages idle for 5 minutes at this rate. And Zuppi's actually stealing Vivi's main gold, as well as having taken a lot of this stone here. I don't know how much stone Zuppi actually managed. Yeah, he's got enough for the castle when he wants to go for it. Be interesting to see whether he chooses to put it on the main gold or here. He feel like he can deny more economy if he puts it here, like where, because Vivi's actually collecting that gold, and that's Vivi's only. I know he's on this wood line as well. I was going to say that was his only wood line besides this one, which he's currently harassing. I guess gold is the best long-term proposition though, especially being able to put the castle on this big hill. You are not doing that, Zuppi. You cannot fight conks with villagers. You can't do it. Meanwhile, back at home, Zuppi still looks pretty safe. He's got enough crossbows prowling around to stop Vivi pushing out from that castle. And the map control from Zuppi is starting to just be so heavily in his favour. I love these houses as well, just like getting line of sight. I mean, he had the villager there anyway, so may as well put it to work, but just make sure Vivi's not sneaking around. And he's going to put that castle on the hill, deny the main gold. So at this point, the only gold Vivi has is this one that's starting to get a bit low. I think there's somewhere around 1500 gold left there. Not really able to gather this one. And it's, although Vivi is keeping up villager production, so it's remaining 6 villagers ahead, 7 villagers. It's just so much more messy for him. So less efficient in terms of his economy. Zuppi actually losing a fair few villagers trying to get out of this castle, but it won't be denied, only stalled. And that was a pretty nice mangonel shot on the conks before the mangonel went down. Gonna make it so much easier for crossbows to pick those conks off. Vivi's still on 20 food and his economy is a mess, so I think Zuppi could get, if this game goes to Imperial Age, it's going to be Zuppi getting there first and maybe doing a treb or 2 from this castle and ending it. Like, I think Vivi actually has to make his move now, has to get a lot of raiding done. But he just doesn't have the presence on the map. He's got 8 military units, which is like 7 conquistadors, I think. Whereas Zuppi with 20 crossbows. 20 crossbows and nearly all the map control and taking away Vivi's gold. Although Vivi is actually has mined out more than half of Zuppi's main goal by this point and is taking his stone as well. Also picked up a stable. I guess he just wants bloodlines for the conquistadors. He has done bloodlines, so that is the answer there. Zuppi trying to push him with triple mangonels here. Vivi only had the one by the looks of it, so he's going to be able to mang down his TC, and Vivi's going to have to just probably do stable at home, try and do some knights, try and get out and snipe those mangonels. Meanwhile, the raiding is coming in from Vivi at home, but he's not really doing much apart from, I think he's killed some more villagers on this wood line, but on the whole it's like Zuppi's entire economy is in other parts of the map right now. It's pretty funny to witness actually, but Zuppi's made vacated and it's just everywhere else now. See, completely created some kind of like satellite economies everywhere else on the map, and yet still manages to have a more efficient economy working than Vivi does at this point. To delete your remorse, really. Zuppi cleaning up to the Imperial Age first, as I predicted, whilst Vivi with 600 food and 100 gold in the bank is going to be nowhere near, especially if he starts to now produce some knights to deal with the pressure from Zuppi. Still, Zuppi manages to sneak the occasional 1 or 2 units into the back of Vivi's economy and just start harassing everything. Could be a question of whether that knight starts to actually activate and deal with it, but yeah, every single time Zuppi's got just like 5 archers or something into the back of Vivi's base, and we saw it start from the feudal age actually, when he was literally sneaking 2 archers and a skirmisher through this wall. He's done absolutely disproportionate amounts of damage with it in terms of economic harassment. Seems like all the conks went down for Vivi, probably at the loss of some crossbows and villagers for Zuppi, but Vivi just has no military presence on the map right now. He's down to 4 military units and he's starting to do armour for his knights, but if he makes knights he's going to be Castle Age forever, and Zuppi with the 48 minutes and 47 second horse collar, that is strong. We've seen some of that in this tournament actually, some very highly skilled players just like getting horse collar off bit axe at like minute 45 and you've just got your head in your hands thinking what the hell. I guess though with the kind of intensity of Vivi's forwarding with the towers and everything, it just completely skipped his mind, and also he didn't have many farms to start with, and then he was like panic laying more farms at the back of his base later on. Nice awareness there from Zuppi there, making sure none of his crossbows went down to that mangonel shot, and we even see guard tower from Zuppi. This may be the only time you see guard tower in the Arabia 1v1 Invitational, but it's pretty nice because it just makes them that bit more beefy, and right now they're doing great harassment, stopping Vivi from taking back his gold. Vivi was trying to solidify his hold in this area a little bit with his own watchtowers, but Zuppi just one-ups him, just goes, whatever you can do, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it to an even greater degree because I've got guard towers. I wonder if we see a treb coming out for him from this castle. Yeah, we do. And I think at that point Vivi's going to have a lot of trouble because he still doesn't have much military on the map, starting to have a few knights, but Castle Age knights just get shredded by Arbalests as soon as they get the upgrades. You know, Arbalests, if they get brace and chemistry, knights just melt with only the +2 defense. So picking up relics too. I think that's the first one for any player on the game, because as I look I can see lots of white dots on the map. chemistry is coming in for Zuppi, so those Arbalests are going to be crazy effective against those Castle Age units, especially the light cavalry that Vivi is researching. I think he just wants one kind of like Hail Mary cavalry push to try and save his bacon in this game, and if that fails, it's probably going to be over for him. But Zuppi's already reading his mind, getting pikemen and infantry armour done. And really, I just struggle to see how Vivi's going to hold this, like holding against a Britain's player in the Castle Age, sorry, an Imperial Age Britain's player when you're in the Castle Age is pretty damn tough. You know, normally your reply to archers would be like mangonels or knights, but when the archers have got 10 range and they are 10 total attack and they're melting your knights, and your mangonels are completely outranged by the archers as well, and their armour isn't enough to actually defend against the 10 attack from the archers, then it's questionable. Like, you basically just have to have a shield of rams and just hope for the best. But really, 4 rams and 10 knights, Zuppi's just going to back away to the hill and just start taking this down, I think. Although most of his archers have gone missing. I don't know where he had more than that, just which means that Vivi could at least kind of delay this, even if he is losing knights so quickly. And the thing is, though, Zuppi has the production facilities here. He's got pikemen flooding out of this barracks. He's got 3 archery ranges, all producing arbalests. And sooner or later, all of this stuff from Vivi is going to go down. The rams won't last long because they can be bashed down by the pikemen, and Zuppi's got villagers there that he can bring into it too. Yeah, this is where quite a lot of Zuppi's army went. And I don't think that castle is going to fall, especially with a little bit of repairing coming in. Battering rams in the Castle Age obviously don't have a massive building attack bonus, so they do take quite a long time to take those rams down, to take the building down. Especially when the numbers are down to 2. I can see Arbalests on a hill versus Castle Age units, they just shred everything. Vivi's units just like paper to those Arbalests. Meanwhile, Zuppi maintains a 12 villager advantage, as well as getting 2 Mansoura and everything, so he's going to be benefiting from those Imperial Age upgrades. Finally doing a heavy plough just 7 minutes after his 48-minute horse collar. I'm really surprised not to see Vivi calling it at this point, because realistically, I just don't see a way back. I mean, Zuppi's even stealing his 3rd gold. He's not mining gold at this point. Actually, he is. He's mining it here. But that's not going to be for much longer with a Treb and some Arbalests there. He's not mining gold, and he just can't fight back against the technological advantage of the Britain's player in the Imperial Age. And there we go, GG. So, as I was saying at the start, expecting Vivi to go for exactly that strategy, because I'd already seen him do it against Viper very, very effectively, but Zuppi had some gold in the back and could wall up this area, and I think that helped him a little bit. When Vivi pulled this off against Viper, it was on the Desert Arabia, and Viper's woodlines and everything were much more sparse, and I think gold and stone placement was potentially even more unfavourable and even more vulnerable to a forward than this. But Vivi tried it, and for a while he was pushing Zuppi's base, and it looked like he might well pull it off. But Britain's player getting up to the Castle Age and still having crossbows, and then importantly, I think like the moment it went downhill for Vivi was when he left this one tile hole in his wall, and Zuppi's archery units got in, but also he didn't have any kind of like house walls to funnel those archery units towards the TC early enough, and just a few archery units got into the back of the base and idled like 20 or 30 vills for so long. It was, well, not idled all of them, but it just turned into a giant mess, and Vivi had no economy, whereas even though Zuppi's economy had kind of transplanted itself to over here somewhere, and to the initially back here, it was definitely much more efficient, and it meant that he advanced through the game much more quickly, getting up to the Imperial Age in particular, being decisive, as well as kind of coming back the other way and giving Vivi some of his own medicine, stealing his stone and putting up towers and castles over here, taking his gold. I mean, pretty much the only thing that kept Vivi in the game for so long was the fact that he was stealing Zuppi's gold over here. You can see he's basically mined out the entirety of Zuppi's main gold, aside from 400 or so. Villager numbers roughly the same, like they didn't diverge too much. It was just a case of who had their villages working more efficiently, and it was pretty nightmare stuff for Vivi actually. I mean, food count was decent, but you look at the difference in wood and gold collected, it's pretty decisive. So that makes 2-0 for Zuppi. I'm going to take a quick break because